We are often asked, what are the requirements that need to be met in order to claim an individual as one of your dependents for tax purposes? Sometimes this can actually be pretty straightforward, but it can also be quite complicated. The purpose of this video is to go over some of those general requirements that need to be met in order to claim an individual as your tax dependent. As always, you should consult a tax advisor on whether or not an individual meets these qualifications, or feel free to contact us to discuss whether or not someone will meet those qualifications. So in order for someone to qualify to be your dependent, he or she needs to meet one of the following two tests, either the qualifying child test or the qualifying relative test. The qualifying child test is met by meeting all of the following requirements. First, the individual must be your child, brother, sister, stepbrother, stepsister, or any descendant of one of those relatives. Second, the individual must have the same principal residence as you for more than 6 months of the year. Third, the individual must be under the age of 19 by the end of the year, or under the age of 24 if he or she is a full-time student. Fourth, the individual does not provide more than half of his or her own support for the year. Support would include food, shelter, clothing, medical and dental care, among other things. And finally, the individual does not file a joint return. So in order to meet the qualifying child test, all of those requirements must be met. If not all of the requirements are met, the individual can still qualify as a dependent if he or she meets all of the requirements of the qualifying relative test. Those requirements are as follows. First, the individual must be related to you in one of the following ways. And as you can see, this pretty much covers every type of relationship under the sun. However, one exception to this is that you can have someone be your dependent that is not related to you, but he or she must be a member of your household and live with you the entire year. Second, the individual's gross income cannot exceed the exemption amount for the tax year. For 2016, this amount is $4,000. Third, you must provide over 1/2 of the individual's support. And finally, the individual must not be the qualifying child of another person. So in summary, in order for an individual to meet the qualifications to be your dependent, they must either meet all of the requirements of the qualifying child test, or if they don't meet those, all of the requirements of the qualifying relative test. And as I stated before, it can get a little bit tricky and a little bit complicated, particularly if parents are separated. There's also many exceptions to this rule. For example, if you have a disabled child or something along those lines, where it can be a little bit more difficult to see if someone actually qualifies as your dependent. So again, be sure to consult a tax advisor if you have any questions related to an individual and whether or not they meet these qualifications, or feel free to give us a call. If you have additional questions, click here to book your free, no obligation consultation. Also, be sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter and subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly updates. If you have a tax question you would like us to answer, please leave it in the comments section below. Thank you.